everyone. If you're curious what I'm doing, well, I decided to stream again. And this time I'm actually doing the DCS, which I haven't done in a while. This is about, well, trying the vegan again. And we'll be basically practicing some dive bombing if you are willing to, stay up and follow. So I'm here on the ground at the Kutaisi airbase with my vegan. I haven't really bothered changing colors or anything. I'm going to just request rearming, so I'm going to take some air-to-air missiles. Now I'm going to take the apologies, unguided slick bombs and one AJX tank in case we use too much fuel. And well, let's just keep the original color, doesn't really matter.
Request rearming. Copy.
And this is the vegan. I apologize for sounds in the background. It might be my flatmate and his friends being a bit too noisy sometimes, but well, that it is what it is. This is the AJS-37 vegan. If you're not into aviation, it's the ground attack or strike variant of the AJ-37 vegan or J-37 vegan, however you want to call it. There is another variant, the JA-37 or something like that, if I recall right, which is the fighter variant, but this is the ground attack variant, and I enjoy doing ground attack, so I'm just using this. The fighter variant is not available. So the plane is cold and dark. I'm gonna go through the startup sequence. Let's put up basic electric power. Low-full pressure valve. Let's kill this warning switch. Start system generator. I'm going to unlock the throttle and system start. Yeah, it's gonna get a little bit noisy. And there's the engine. Okay, radar warning receiver is set. We've armed our seat. I'm gonna put in the data cartridge, which is your USB stick for the plane. It contains the mission data that you need to start, and I'm gonna lower the canopy. And fire up the oxygen system. My navigation is on standby, so nothing to do there. So I need to load up the data. I need to interact with the computer via a number panel. It's very easy once you learn them. So 9099 is basically load files or load everything command. And this is going to read the data cartridge and put the information into the navigation system. Then we need to do a few other things. Okay, then I need to turn waypoint 2 into a tactical waypoint. Or was it waypoint 2? I really need to check. I think it was waypoint. That's 1. Yeah, waypoint 2 was my tactical waypoint. 9, and I'm gonna set Bravo 2 as a tactical waypoint. and we're gonna verify the point. So B1, it's that way, B2 is that way, B3, and landing. Okay, so we go back there. Then we need to do some other setup here, like disabling radar ranging, which is, well, will be required for the bombs, and I need to create a pop-up point. So the way this works, I will go very low level to avoid enemy radar detection, pop up, and drop my bombs. That's usually how the Vegan operates, low altitude strikes. So for that, I'm actually going to create a waypoint, and I'm going to be attacking from the sea. So I'm going to be, I think I'm going to be going on direction 270, or should we go 09? No, let's clear. Let's reset, and I'm going to set this at 270, and let's go 10 kilometers away. Yes, 100 is actually 10 kilometers. Gonna close this, set this to the out position. Well, I didn't request startup, but there we go. This doesn't really matter, but I mean, if you really want to go through the whole procedure, that's fine. Jammer on, external lights. We can of course set other stuff here, but I'm not going to. I don't have a jammer for the electronic warfare jammer. I cannot speak. And I'm gonna set the trim, the takeoff trim, which is about 3 degrees up, which is already set. Okay, and ATC. Yeah, I should have done this in the beginning. Okay, I'm going to remove the parking brake. And I think we are ready to go. Okay, there's no traffic. Okay. Okay, brakes are holding. And we're gonna start turning. This plane does not have any way to disable the nose wheel steering. It's always on, even when you go on the runway. As long as you keep it straight, it should work. And this is just some ground crew units. Gonna step on the brakes a little bit. It has a very powerful engine. Should be taxiing in the middle of the taxiway, but well, it doesn't really matter at this point. I've been playing DCS since 2017 winter, I think. This was my third or fourth module that I bought. And now I've decided I'm gonna give it a bit more attention. I'm not using the stick at all, just throttle and... I'm sorry if you don't hear any in-game sounds. For some reason it doesn't seem to be capturing any in-game sounds, so... Normally it works, but... Maybe I'm a complete and utter incompetent when it comes to... Okay, there we go. Now it's actually capturing something. Okay, I'm gonna step a bit on the brakes before the turn, and turn. That was a bit... Yeah, if I click to another window, then it's a bit... And well, let's get some plane engine noises in there, so... Okay, that's a bit too loud. Something like this. Now, if you cannot hear me, well, I blame the game, the game sounds. Okay, I'm going to cut off power a bit. It was going a bit too fast, and you don't want to taxi too fast. I do have other planes as well, some pretty cool ones, and of course I can take requests if you want to see anything like that. I am on 120% fuel. Mainly because I have the external tank. It can only carry one central external tank.
Enfield 1-1, unable to clear for takeoff.
Okay, so he cannot clear us for takeoff, but...
Enfield 1-1, Kataisi, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.77.
The AI-80 system is very bad in this game, so I'm not going to use it. He's telling us to climb to 30,000 feet. I do not want to do that. Okay, the brakes on. Navigation system to nav. I'm gonna preset the weapons. What you hear is the radar warning receiver. There are a few radars on this map. Afterburner stage 1, 3, 2, 1, go. See, told you, nose wheel steering actually works. It's a bit of a pain. That's one of the things I don't like about the Vigan, but third level afterburner, 300 kilometers an hour, 310, rotate, gear up. Hot glass up, and we start to turn. Oopsie! Ah! Whoopsie daisy, that was nasty. Okay, I used the rudders in the turn. I should not have. Oh, what the hell? It's never done this before. No. Let's pretend that never happened. And let's pick up the other one. This has never happened before. Oh, well. That was shameful. Well, I'm just gonna arm it up.
Request rearming. Copy.
Gonna put in the tape.
Rearming complete.
I'm just waiting now for the generator to kick in. There's the generator. Instruments are just now powering up, all the lights are off, so we're going to do the same operation. I'm gonna load the data with 9099 and enter. When it displays 4 zeros, then it's done. Okay, I'm gonna check the kneeboard. Okay, that's the correct information. I'm gonna set that. I'm gonna create a web pop-up point. And I'm going to start. I'm gonna remove the wheel brakes and start taxiing again. I should have climbed a little bit higher. I could have just gone at a lower altitude, but...
Enfield 1-2. Kataisi, clear to taxi to runway 8.
yeah, sure. And it's gonna start moving. Now I can actually check my text messages while taxiing. I know, don't taxi and drive. Apologies. I'm just checking my messages as well. Hello viewers, how's it going? Now don't be shy, feel free to talk to me. I can follow the chat and talk to you at the same time, so that's not an issue. I just need one hand on the throttle. Hello. And yes, I got a haircut and shaved today, so I was looking like a bloody Viking. I mean, not that bad, but yes, I'm going very slow. Taxiing is one of the most time-consuming parts in aviation. The flying comes afterwards, but you need to get to the bloody runway. Not doing helicopters this time. And I need to set the QFE here to 1007, and this one was 10112. Yeah, the QFE is basically the barometric pressure where the target is, and you need that for weapons ranging in the Viggen. It's not very new, it's an older bird, but that's how it works. Also, yes, the Swedish is... the cockpit is completely in Swedish, so... it's a Swedish plane after all. It never really got exported, the Draken did. And its successor, the Gripen, was exported quite successfully, but the Viggen was not. They had some plans for exporting it, but I guess nobody wanted to buy it, even though it's a very capable plane. And I'm pretty sure the Swedes could have accommodated any technology onto it. I mean, it's pretty capable of carrying Western weapons, like Sidewinders, Mavericks, and of course some domestic-made weapons from Sweden, like the BK-90, standoff munitions, the RB-04 and 15 anti-ship missiles. The RB-15 is still in use. The RB-05, which is a remote-controlled air-to-ground missile. So the pilot basically needs to point the nose at the target and pilot the missile to the target based on the flare in the butt of the missile. And let's see what else. Well, bombs, 3 variations: illumination, slick, so low drag, high drag, also rockets, gun pods, electronic warfare pods, chaff and flare, and alien pods, which are electronic warfare intelligence collection pods. So yeah, it's fairly capable. It does not have an internal gun or chaff and flare dispensers itself, but it's quite a capable aircraft. Well, we have drift. Well, I need to set the navigation system when we reach the runway. Well, I already have, but...
Enfield 1-2, unable to clear for takeoff. Enfield 1-2, Kataisi, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.77.
I don't understand why it accumulated drift, but it did. Anyway. Same problem as before. I'm going on full power. 300 kilometers an hour. Rotate. Gear up. Glass up. I'm gonna do a much shallower turn this time. Because last time we all know what happened. I'm not gonna fly very high actually. I'm going about a few hundred feet off the deck, so afterburner level 2, turning on the air to ground radar. Radar's on. Oh boy. I get a lot of beeps because there's the there are the local radars which are just trying to paint me and see who I am basically. And I'm going to activate the autopilot at this point. Here's the distance to my next waypoint. It's 60 miles, Swedish miles, so basically about 60 kilometers. I'm doing about 860 kilometers an hour. I will not go supersonic, even though the plane is completely capable of going supersonic. Very noisy on the outside, I know. Let's actually reduce the volume a little bit. In cockpit volume, it's a bit loud. And the master volume. Now it's a bit more acceptable. Now we can actually communicate. I have a bit of a sore throat, don't mind me. Normally I don't have this lag, but I don't know why it's lagging so hard. The weapons are already set. Okay, I don't need to do anything else. These are just radars painting me, and I know which radar it is. It's actually an AWACS. So an airborne control radar, that's just ahead. And the air-to-ground radar there is basically painting the terrain ahead of me, and it's trying to get receptions. The long stripes that you see on the radar are basically objects that cast radar shadows. The black dots are actually buildings. If we reduce the radar range to, let's say, about 15, we get a lot more accuracy. So there are a few buildings there that on that side that it's picking up about 5 kilometers away. And there are a few modes here that it can actually use. So linear mapping mode and logarithmic mapping mode, and I should be turning on B1 40 kilometers. B1 is somewhere on the coast. From there I'm going to turn south. I can do a bit of turning with the trim switch, so it's fine. I can still correct my course even though I'm literally hands off. Still doing about 800 kilometers an hour. Oh, I should be there fairly quickly. It starts actually, so it uses a mixture of, I guess, INS and Doppler navigation because it actually uses terrain to update its position. As far as I understood the navigation system, it's a well, it's a 1970s system, very unique to Sweden. So, and I can see the coast already. So the radar shadows have kind of died out. There's a river that I'm flying over, and it's mapping it, and it's the river's course ahead. You can see the winding line. That would be the river. And now the coastline. So my other, I'm going to a pop-up point, then I'm going to the waypoint. So it's gonna be a bit kind of off to the pop-up point, then I'm gonna go up, set on the weapons, and start. Okay, I'm gonna set this. I forgot to set this to low-level bombing. There's no point in chasing the waypoint. It's right here on this island. If I look down, it's mapping the island ahead. This is the lowest range I can go to, 15 kilometers. I'm right on top of the waypoint now. There it is. I'm gonna turn off the spark, which is the autopilot, and let's see, what have we done? We're going to head to U2, which is the pop-up point. It's basically where we will head up and start turning on the target. It's a distance of about 40 kilometers away. Well, that's quite far, but maybe I've just set the wrong points. Okay, that should be about right. I don't want to go supersonic. There's no point. And there's my waypoint. It's on the radar screen. This plane requires a lot of trim. It's the Vigan's thing, I guess. I'm flying now manually, but I'm gonna be there very, very soon. Spag is on. I do not have any drift collected. Put this to sea because we're flying over the sea. Hello viewer, how's it going? And accelerating. Stage 1 afterburner only. Plane has a lot of fuel, so it's not a problem. Well, I'm at about 90% fuel, 95% fuels. Distance is dropping. My altitude is about 400 meters. Normally I would fly a lot lower, like just skimming the waves, but 10 kilometers. Going full afterburner. Ah, thanks. I'm happy you're enjoying it. And switching to ANF. Glass down, and yeah, I'll have to do a very funky chicken here. I set up the pop-up point wrong. I'm gonna have to do a really funny roll on the target. Ah, well, people fly whatever they want to fly, you know. Ooh, red out. Okay, let's cut off the speed a bit. And well, a little bit of course, but I know where my target is because I have already planned it before, so Yeah, I'm not very good with the vegan. I just decided to give it attention after not touching it for many, many months. And we roll in on the target. Safety off. That's the radar ranging. And now let's try to set the dot. Okay. And we are on in range. Well, I've overshot the target, but it is what it is. Trigger off. And we are heading to Bravo 3, which is the waypoint 3. And yeah, I know everybody's flying the F-14B. It's a fun plane. I've been trying to practice with it. It's, well, I would love to have somebody to fly it with, but like a Rio, or I could fly as a Rio. I've done a bit of Rio work before on it, so. I've just set the azimuth wrong for that pop-up point, or... Okay, let's trim it out. I'll just fly manually, it's fine. I mean, the F-14B is a capable plane. I just don't really do multiplayer, so I can just fly whatever I feel like it. And I need to check my landing. It doesn't... Okay, it does not have a tilts attached. Okay. That I know of. Oh yeah, well, let's see what we have. I don't need to see the landing diagrams. I don't really care about much about them. No, I want to see the good stuff. I should be using the Spark system, but I'm not. Radio channels. Kutaisi has channel 14. Okay. Yeah, the Mirage 2000 was actually my first or second jet that I bought. The Vigan was my third or my fourth, I don't remember. Well, let's not chase the waypoint. We're heading to land anyway, so let's go to tilts, automatic. No, let's set this to channel 14. Well, let's head to land. And I'm gonna start losing the speed here because yeah, I'm going way too fast. I'm gonna try flying straight in. The tilts is basically a ILS. You have it on the Mirage, so you know what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not really using the stick to turn, just the trim. You reset the trim to center and the plane just resets itself to the flight path. 30 kilometers, and I'm going to activate the automatic fart control, which is the auto throttle. It's gonna drop my speed to 550 kilometers an hour. Over time. I technically don't need it, but it's slowly dropping my speed. I get a lot of radar pings because there are a lot of friendly radars just picking me up. And the flashing bars on the HUD are just radar altimeter warnings. 20 kilometers to the airfield. The runway is a bit to the left. 290 knots. Okay, the auto throttle seems to be doing its job. I'll disengage the spark system and go a bit high, just to see ahead. If you didn't know, the auto throttle on the Vigen, I was about to say MiG, if you drop the wheels, it will just basically keep your landing angle of attack of, was it 15 degrees? I think it was. Of course you can do it yourself with just trimming, but right now it's just maintaining 550 kilometers an hour for me. I'm just using trim, no throttle, it's at the set speed, so. We're gonna set the HUD for landing, and the radar also moved into the same position, to the same settings. There's the airfield. Okay, so I'm gonna fly a pattern. I'm gonna come over the runway and just fly a regular pattern, disengaging the automatic fart throttle. Fart is basically throttle in Swedish, sorry. Automatisk fartkontroll. Okay, preparing the reverser, just so I don't forget it. Again, lots of trim use, typical for the Vigen. That's my airfield, and I'm gonna fly the usual left braking pattern at the end of the runway. Again, sore throat, apologies. Yes, I should turn the volume off, but doesn't really bother me. At least it's telling me that, you know, somebody's looking at me. It's gonna be a wide pattern, but I'm not very good with tight corners, so. But, well, yeah, the missions with this are a bit different from what you would have in an F-14. Because this usually goes in, strikes, and just bugs the hell out. Again, just trimming and throttling here just to keep it flying. Yeah, I know I talk a lot, but I'm not on the correct heading. Well, technically I am. No, I need to be on 260, not 270. The heading beeper, basically, well, I don't know what you call it. The heading indicator on the radar is telling me which way to go, but I need to fly the pattern, so. And I don't understand, usually I don't get any laggy performance in this game, but I guess this time I do. Doing about 480 kilometers an hour. Deploying speed brakes a bit. And turn. Gear down. automatic throttle engaged just to keep me on trim. Okay, base leg, gonna go final soon. Turning on final. This is meant to keep about 260 kilometers an hour as I descend, so. Trying to keep it about 3 degrees descent rate. Okay. Some people have problems landing the Viggen. I've had the issues myself, so I cannot say I'm an expert. I'm simply just landing it as I see fit. Yeah, you don't have the fancy symbology of the ILS on the Mirage, that's true. And the thrust reverser is basically what keeps you from overshooting the runways. I was maybe a bit high. Okay, let's... This lag is not exactly helping. And thrust reverser is on. The plane is going to stop very quickly. I can just be at 75% thrust if I want. And we can check the speed. 100 kilometers an hour.
Enfield 1-2. Taxi to parking area.
Okay, that's gonna happen. I left the thrust reverser too much on. And I'm gonna just tap the brakes. Just very gently. Otherwise, it has the tendency of going nose up. Gonna disengage the reverser and let's taxi to the parking area. It has nose wheel steering always on if you want to try the Viggen, just so you know. I don't know how much you know about it, but it's always on. So I think on the Mirage, I think you need to enable it. On this guy, no, it's always on nose wheel steering, even when you take off. The Mirage is a little bit different, obviously, but... And yes, I'll be doing more Viggen videos, obviously, but... Setting the radar off. I don't need the radar anymore, after all. Just going for the next taxiway, which is just a bit ahead. Apologies, just checking my messages again. Nothing serious, just sometimes I do that. Yeah, well, it's basically a double delta wing strike aircraft from Sweden, as you might know. It's a very capable strike aircraft, not such a good fighter. It's not meant to be a fighter, it's, after all, ground attack. And it can carry a pretty hefty payload. Anything from bombs, rockets, gun pods, to anti-ship missiles. It can carry sidewinders, I think. Papas and Mikes, I think. I don't remember the exact versions of P or M's. No, it has no internal gun. It has no chaff and flare dispenser. You need to actually attach a pod for that. It can also fire things similar to the J-Sows, but with much shorter range, called PK-90s, which have all sorts of ammunition types, like, well, 3 ammunition types mixed, anti-personnel or anti-armor. Those are basically gliding cluster bomb dispensers. The bombs are in 3 variations, so you have Slick, which was what I've dropped, which are the M71 bombs. I think they are a bit smaller than the Mark 82, I don't remember, so you would have to look up for yourself. Then they have the high drag version of the M71. They are retarded with a parachute. They don't have a tail assembly that opens to do the to create a drag, and then they have illumination bombs as well. Illumination bombs, I guess they are useful, but I've never used them. Like the Mirage, it's a delta wing, double delta. It has automatic flaps, like the Mirage again. You don't need to. There are no flaps controls in it, so you just let the plane handle everything. You just focus on the flying. It has a very basic autopilot system. It's not capable of air-to-air refueling. It was not part of the Swedish doctrine, so they never added it. The cool part about it, the thrust reverser allows it to do short takeoffs and landings. So it allows it to operate from a roadside base. Again, central to the Swedish doctrine. It can also carry Mavericks, I think A and Bs, really old Mavericks, like from the 1970s. But yeah, you can carry TV-guided Mavericks. And it's one of the best anti-shipping planes currently, until the AGM-84 Harpoon comes for the Hornet. But yeah, it's a capable plane for its time period. I think it's quite capable. Western equivalents, I guess, would be the F-111, the Aardvark, which carries a bucket load more ammunition than this, but well, ordnance, but same idea. Flying low, avoid enemy radars, blow everything up, then just return to base. It also has electronic warfare and electronic intelligence gathering pods available to it. So you can actually fly a route and pick up information about the SAMs on that area. For example, you can get like frequencies, bands they operate in, and then from that you can deduce, of course, where they are and what type of SAMs they are. It has a really nice ELINT generation program available to it that you get at the end of the mission in your knee board. So then you can see, okay, so you have a couple of S300s, some SA-13s, and some SA-6s, and their exact position. You need to do a lot of low fancy flying to avoid them, but it's completely doable. I mean, I have not done it, but I've seen other people do it. You can definitely watch the Grim Reapers. Those guys have been doing it. So the plane itself is capable. It has no anti-radiation capabilities, but, well, I guess it just doesn't. I might actually do some Mirage videos as well, but let's see. No promises there. Again, the Mirage was my first fighter. Then it was the MiG-21. Yeah, then I bought the Viggen. Then was the 8NC was my fourth, but I just decided to give the Viggen a bit more attention, so I'm going to be practicing dive bombing quite often. This was just dive bombing video I decided to do online. And one really cool thing about it, I'm going to show you, is the fact that you can actually go backwards. So I want to park the plane. I can give it a bit of power, and it will go backwards. This is one of the cool things I like about it. Oh, see daisy, the nose goes up if you tap too much on the brakes. So you can use the thrust reverser to just park it. Well, it wasn't the greatest parking job, but anyway, the shutdown sequence itself is very easy. Well, let's open the canopy. Let's turn off the oxygen system. This is just warning me that the canopy is opening Then it's the generator, start system, electrical power, main power. That's the shutdown sequence. And of course then you can disarm the ejection seat. This is the arming switch for the ejection seat. And these are the pull handles. I think the red ones are the pull handles. I've never really seen a Vigan up close. I've seen a Draken up close and been in one. It's a very tiny cockpit. Actually, the Vigan has a much wider cockpit from what I understand. A lot more roomy. But yeah, that was the Vigan video. I will do others again. Thanks for tuning in anyway, and feel free to follow. I don't know when the next video is, but I'll try to keep it semi-regular. And probably the next one will be just trying to get better with the dive bombs and setting up pop-up points and so on. Anyway, if you like what you've seen, feel free to follow and stay tuned to my next stream. Don't know what else to say. Yep, that's it. I wish you a wonderful week. I'm still on vacation this week. That's why I'm streaming. I used to stream in the evenings when I was at work, but yeah, there we go. Anyway, I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye-bye.